Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Finish the first form of the Nanshan 7 forms within 3,000 years. Gui Knight, who stood beside, was shocked within. The Nanshan 7 forms, or Beast God 7 techniques, were well known as an extremely valuable manual amongst the pinnacle race humanity's upper echelon. There were two reasons for its reputation. One of them was because the Gold Horn races, Chiluo Duo, was well known amongst the trillions of races in the universe back then. The second reason was also because of the universe producing such a powerful creature, the Beast God. And because of it, humans back then had sacrificed quite a lot. The strong were forged. Chiluo Duo and the Beast God were like that. And the Nanshan 7 forms that Chiluo Duo created was created with the Beast God in mind. Naturally, this was respected by humanity itself. When the Gold Horn race became subservient to humanity, the strongest manual they had was this Nanshan 7 forms. Naturally, it became humanity's, and since then, as they respected Chiluo Duo and the Beast God, there were many that exchanged for this manual and trained in it. This training made them discover that the Nanshan 7 forms were incredibly difficult. It was tens of thousands of times harder than simply training in the space law alone. Especially the first level, even some knights have yet to pass this first level. Completing this first level proved that one had talent in the fusion of the gold and space laws. I remember back then, Lian Luo took 3,000 years to completely comprehend the 108 wonders of space laws. Gui Knight was shocked within. And teacher is only giving Luo Feng 3,000 years to comprehend the Nanshan 7 forms first form. That's tough. 3,000 years. Luo Feng was nervous within. Chiluo Duo had mentioned in the first volume that this was just the beginning. It was best to completely comprehend the 108 wonders first before trying this out. And the time spent on this would be hundreds to thousands of times longer than the time spent on the 108 wonders. These were some words left behind by Chiluo Duo in the manual, casual hundreds to thousands of times. I spent over 100 years comprehending the 108 wonders, then wouldn't the time I need be 10,000 to 100,000 years? Luo Feng thought. However, I have the little Beast God statue. Since I'm able to study it and imitate the way it fuses the laws, my efficiency will be much higher. If I work hard, I'll definitely be able to finish the scale section within 3,000 years. I will definitely do my best. Luo Feng stood before this body of the city leader, not daring to show any disrespect. He nodded. After which walked into the distance. Gui Knight and Luo Feng followed. Your 9th senior is here, he said. Luo Feng turned around and suddenly, amidst a tornado, a 9m tall huge man, with 6 arms and 6 eyes, walked over. Behind him was a huge gold axe almost as tall as him. It had incomparably complex engravings on it, and powerful energy emanated from it, causing the space around it to tear apart. He took huge strides over, stepping through some bodies. The space about shook. Teacher, the huge man said respectfully as he got closer. This is your 9th senior huge axe knight, the city leader explained behind Luo Feng. 9th senior. Luo Feng bowed. Your 9th senior huge axe knight has trained in the Nanshan 7 forms before. The city leader revealed a smile. From today on, within these 3,000 years, I allow you to go visit him for guidance once every decade. Whatever questions you have, you can ask him. Luo Feng was happy. Even though it was said that no one had comprehended the secret of the sleeping Beast God statue in the Gold Horn race's Beast God Canyon, Luo Feng had long guessed that there would be some warriors that had seen through it, but had not publicly announced anything. The strong were numerous as the clouds. They even had this manual. There would definitely be many that have tried it. Yes, Luo Feng said respectfully, after which he turned to the huge axe knight and said respectfully, I'll be troubling you for the next 3,000 years, 9th senior. No trouble at all. He laughed and said. What a joke. The city leader ordered it. Would he dare go against it? This Nanshan 7 forms is too hard. Even though I've trained in it before, I can only roughly guide you. Huge Axe Knight explained. Even though he had tried training it before, he had only reached the 4th level. His body itself, however, was very strong. After a trillion years of practicing, he realized the gains didn't make up for the losses. Right now he had completely given up on it, and was focusing on studying time itself. He was already accomplished in space. Hence, he was waiting for the moment he reached the same level in time as well. Time and space as one, he would naturally become a universe master. Training time and space, this was the great path common amongst the universe's trillion races. 99.9% of knights all walked this path. After the city leader ordered Huge Axe Knight, he turned to Luo Feng. The way our virtual universe company nurtures its geniuses is that the higher the talent, the more resources he would receive. Of course, you'll only get these when you reach Sector Lord level. Since you are under me now, I will naturally give you some resources too. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng was glad within. I'll give you an extra 20 times to study the 9 universe tablet. The city leader said. I believe it's what you need the most now. Go on, let's hope you'll finish the first form within 3,000 years. Yes. Luo Feng could barely suppress his joy, bowing respectfully. Gui Yi Knight and Huge Axe Knight bowed too. The 3 of them simultaneously vanished and appeared within the Primal Chaos Ruins yard. Space warp. Luo Feng realized as he stood in the yard, shocked. Luo Feng Jr., work hard. Gui Yi Knight said as he smiled, after which he vanished too. I'll visit you in the virtual universe Yuseong Mountain in 10 years. Huge Axe Knight's voice rumbled, after which he vanished too. 3,000 years. Luo Feng thought, his eyes gleaming with joy, and another 20 times to study the tablet. It's wonderful. 20 chances to study the 9 universe tablet. Although it seemed normal, in truth, its worth was priceless. That was because even with points, it was impossible to exchange for these chances. Every time one passed a level in the heavenly bridge, he would get 1 chance. After passing the 21st level, one would already be a knight. One would only get about 21 times. Every chance itself was extremely valuable. The main reason Luo Feng came to Primal Chaos City was mostly also to study this 9 universe tablet. Out of nowhere, he suddenly got 20 more chances. It was even better than the many manuals he had, surprising him more than acquiring any treasure. After exiting the residence, he headed straight to study the tablet. He currently had a total of 26 times. He had 6 times left from the heavenly bridge, and the city leader gave him another 20. Using each time wisely would allow his improvement speed to grow extremely fast. Time passed. The news of Luo Feng becoming a disciple in name to the city leader was well known amongst the knights. And the Ganwu Universe country leader too made a rare order to look after his family well. With that, the many undying families naturally were incredibly passionate to his family. The Luo family power immediately soared even more, akin to a powerful undying family within the Ganwu Universe country. Luo Feng didn't care much about this. He was clear this was the most important period of rising for him. The stronger he got and the higher he climbed, then his family would get even stronger. The moment he fell, however, his family too would fall rapidly. 10 years later. Yes, 9th Senior. Understood. Within his training grounds in the virtual universe Yuseong Mountain Primal region, Huge Axe Knight was guiding him, answering the questions he had bottled up for 10 years. And as one of the early disciples of the city leader, with countless years of guidance from the city leader himself, his strength was no weaker than Shahua Knight. He was maybe even stronger. His guidance was naturally solid, easily explaining and making Luo Feng smile with delight. After 3 whole days of guidance, Huge Axe Knight left. Luo Feng continued to sit cross-legged on the balcony, occasionally looking up to the skies, and other times immersed in his thoughts. The Golden Horned Beast and the Mosha clan too were training hard. In a flash, it had been 12 years since he left the city leader's residence after becoming a disciple in name. Ha ha! Luo Feng, who sat cross-legged on his balcony, suddenly opened his eyes and stood up. He couldn't help but smile excitedly. I've finally done it. I've completely comprehended the 108 wonders of space. Lian Luo took 3,000 years. I did it in a little over 100 years. Luo Feng laughed loudly, filled with glee. I trained with a sector lord body, he did the same. Yet I'm close to 30 times faster than he was. Looks like my speed has exceeded his. With the separate bodies, Luo Feng's speed and talent did exceed Lian Luo's. However, it wasn't as absurd as 30 times more. The main thing was he had the little beast god statue. To be able to study and feel its presence, it naturally was a huge benefit to his training in the space laws. No wonder Lian Luo had said that with the comprehension of these 108 wonders, the fourth and fifth and even the sixth picture would be easier. Luo Feng smiled. Ha ha, even though the fourth to the sixth are incredibly complex, in truth, they are a formation of these 108 wonders. The 108 wonders were like the ingredients. And all delicacies relied on the most basic ingredients, comprehending the foundation before training the fourth to sixth pictures. It was completely unlike the normal warriors with their basic level comprehension. The fourth to sixth pictures, I'll at most take a little time with them, they won't be a barrier at all. Luo Feng said confidently. However, I'm in no rush to study the fourth picture now. I have to first study the Nanshan 7 forms. I have to grasp the time. Luo Feng couldn't care less about anything else. He closed his eyes, and in his mind, countless words and training methods etc. floated within. This was the Nanshan 36 forms he had acquired back in the Goldhorn Race Sacred Lands Manual Tower. As he read through the Nanshan 7 forms, he discovered the Nanshan 36 forms was the basic beginner's manual to the Nanshan 7 forms. This was actually said in its detailed introduction back in the Manual Tower, that this was Shiluo Juo's basic manual. Before, Luo Feng had simply relied on the golden horned beast to grasp the beast god presence, not trying to comprehend the laws within, but simply imitated it. At this time, he had truly begun to study the fusion of the laws. Just like how some people were naturally gifted in piano on earth, and some more in the sciences, even though they could achieve anything with effort, the talent was a good stepping stone. And in the difficult path of fusing the laws, one that even many knights weren't able to begin with, and Luo Feng had just stepped in. Was it fast? Or slow? It was hard to say before the training began. Virtual Universe, Luo Feng's training grounds. In the spacious sky above the mountains, Luo Feng stood on the Luo Fu Yu board with over 800,000 little blades surrounding him. A blur of blades covered the sky. He used his spirit energy to trigger the blades and through the universe laws, began to unleash his illusionary blade, sky-piercing blade, blade domain, heavenly pillar, space slicer, blade world. Even though these were ordinary blades, with no lore engravings on them, he could still use his moves. The main advantage of the spirit weapons were that they had fixed lore engravings on them. Through some combination work, the moves could be used to trigger them. Simply triggering the lore engravings allowed one to use them. But, without the spirit weapons, for Luo Feng to control the blur of blades, and triggering the laws by himself was too tedious. Using the same move without a spirit weapon, the amount of energy needed alone would be tens to hundreds of times different. Space slicing gold blade. Countless blades danced in mid-air, triggered by the universe laws, they eventually formed one body together. A huge blade with golden energy flow was formed. Luo Feng's face was flushed red, he stared hard at the huge blade formed by countless little ones. If I use the Nanshan armament, I can easily unleash this move, and the power will be much stronger. Luo Feng thought. However, using hundreds of thousands of normal little blades, and triggering the laws for each one of them to eventually connect them with the laws themselves, is very tedious. I can barely form this huge blade. One had to know that Luo Feng had already comprehended the 108 wonders of space, and his space law comprehension had already reached the 12th level of the Heavenly Bridge. The moment he combined that with his 3,200 spirit energy amplitude, he could already unleash the Nanshan armament's 9th level, a match against Undying. With the Nanshan armament, he could use the 9th level. Without it, using countless normal blades, even the 8th level was tedious. Through training in the Nanshan 36 forms, He had naturally learnt how to control ordinary blades with the laws. Triggering the laws to control them was a skill used in creating techniques. Spreading one's attacking technique into hundreds of thousands of little blades, and arranging each and every one of them. Finally reaching a level of satisfaction. After which, combining them with the laws themselves, and engraving the required laws within. That way, one didn't need to work so hard when unleashing his move, he just simply needed to trigger them. Of course, Luo Feng hadn't reached the level of creating techniques. Training this Nanshan 36 forms had great benefits for him. It worked well with the Nanshan 7 forms first level. So it's that way. Beast God presence, the wonder within is like that. Luo Feng occasionally had smiles and frowns as he sat on his balcony. When he first began fusing the laws, he discovered that the little beast God presence that he had grasped had benefits. This was almost like some car mechanics. Even though they didn't know the principles behind the engines, they could still fix them. And when they began to actually study it, it would resonate with their fixing experience. Their comprehension would thus speed up. Luo Feng was that way as well. He knew how to do it in the past, but he didn't understand it too well. Now that he began to study it, they worked together, and he would be extremely excited whenever it happened. So it's that way. Ha ha. During the 6th year after he began the Nanshan 7 forms. Teacher. Luo Feng sat beside his teacher. How's the study of the Nanshan 7 forms? Do you have confidence in completing the first level within 3,000 years? Tru Yang looked at Luo Feng. He knew about his deal with the city leader. I'm doing well for now. Luo Feng smiled. My first 6 years into it have been smooth. However, this beast god path is extremely profound. Just the first scale portion alone is incredibly complex. According to Shiluo Duo, it has many barriers within. I don't know whether I'll be able to easily break through them. Tru Yang nodded. This was a true high-level manual. The moment one finished the 6 levels, he would stand at the pinnacle of humanity. Just like the huge Axe Dojo founder, Primal Chaos City leader, Void Gold Master, and other few rare existences, he may still be weaker than them, but it was still enough to dominate over trillions of races in the universe. Hence, every level was incredibly difficult. Smooth sailing at the start, that's good, it means you fit this path well. Tru Yang nodded satisfied. There was no way for him to know that the golden horned beast had been imitating the sleeping statue for a long time, studying the little beast god statue, and its special presence, which was also infused with the fusion laws, and practicing it with its sky-tearing claw over and over. Amongst Luo Feng's 3 bodies, the earth body and the Mosha body's training in the beast god path was far from the speed of the golden horned beast. The golden horned beast, the sleeping beast god statue, the little beast god statue, along with the Nanshan 7 forms and Nanshan 36 techniques, these were the ideal combination. A few more days and it'll be the Domain Lord Millennial Qualification battles. Tru Yang laughed. You must remember to take part. I remember. Luo Feng laughed. Domain Lord Qualification battles. The strongest of the 10 seniors had only just passed the 11th level, even if he didn't use the beast god presence. Just using his space laws and 3,200 spirit energy amplitude, he could already easily pass the 13th level. Fighting them is simply bullying them, they are no challenge at all. Luo Feng muttered to himself. Even though it was obviously bullying, the date of the qualification battles still came. Virtual Universe Yuseong Mountain, Primal Region. The Primal Region Domain Lord battles are about to begin, all gather. A thick voice resounded within the entire Primal Region. All 11 members looked up in the sky, gazing at the silhouette in the air, after which they all rushed up into the skies. 11 of them gathered in mid-air, looking at the purple-clothed man. He was the organizer of the battles sent by the Virtual Universe Company, and also a powerful Undying. Luo Feng. That's Luo Feng. Tuo Ka, that's Luo Feng, his training speed is absurd. The 10 seniors all seemed to gaze at him. Of the 10, only Tuo Ka was currently in Primal Chaos City, the other 9 were elsewhere, and as Luo Feng hardly attended classes in the virtual universe, he mostly attended them personally in Primal Chaos City, hence the other 9 weren't familiar with him. Interesting. Luo Feng could feel their gaze on him. He smiled, forget it, it's no fun if I bully them too much. I'll show them some respect when we fight later. I'll settle them quickly, but not too badly. It was indeed bullying. Passing the 13th level compared to the 11th, the difference was too huge. It was purely elimination. Before Luo Feng had consecutively passed the 6 levels, the 10 seniors all thought Luo Feng had some capability, but at least they were still stronger than him. Some couldn't wait to fight him. However, now that he had passed the 13th level, the group of seniors were all stunned. Dumbfounded. Tuor Ka, who was in Primal Chaos City, howled within. I've trained for 30,000 years, but is only trained for a few hundred years. How is he so much stronger than me? This is too unfair. Is this another coup d'etat? To be in the same generation as a monster, what a tragedy. The 10 of them couldn't even face him. Some looked on at him like he was an absolute genius monster. They were very clear about the fact that Luo Feng wasn't on the same level as them at all. The purple-clothed man looked at the 11 before him, his gaze landing on Luo Feng. He couldn't help but carefully analyze Luo Feng. He had heard Luo Feng had become the Primal Chaos City leader's disciple in name. He was filled with envy. His level of undying didn't even have the chance to meet the city leader, he was totally envious. Same rules as before. His gaze swept past the 11, expression serious. Once every millennium, the Domain Lord qualification battles occur. There are a total of 11 of you this time. Everyone will fight against the other 10. In these matches, the victor will get 1 point, the loser will get 0, the final score will rank you all. The top 6 will continue to stay in the primal region, the remaining 5 will compete against the top 5 of the absolute, beginning region domain lords, fighting for the final 4 slots. I'm sure you all understand. Understood. The 11 of them nodded. Luo Feng was very relaxed. The 10 of them, however, all felt the pressure. No matter what, Luo Feng had already taken 1 slot. The top 5 of the absolute beginning region, the geniuses of over 100 in that region, wouldn't be too far behind. The moment they had to compete against them, it would extremely intense. The battles will all be held in special areas. The virtual universe system will automatically send you in pairs to them. Everyone will fight with everyone else, unless your opponent forfeits. Those not in battles can watch the live broadcasts of other battles. He smiled, prepare yourselves, and await for the teleportation. 11 members nodded, their gazes changing to that of competition. Competition. From the day they stepped into the virtual universe company, this had always been the case. Luo Feng stood calmly in mid-air, as he didn't care about the 10 seniors. He wasn't competing against them, not even the geniuses of his generation. But the great beings of humanity in history, or the absolute geniuses of the other races in the universe. 10 of the 11 were immediately teleported, leaving only Luo Feng behind. The 5 matches that just begun, I'm the only one not taking part. Luo Feng shook his head and laughed. Don't be anxious, everyone will fight eventually. The purple-clothed man smiled at Luo Feng. And this is simply just a passing to you, there's no challenge at all. Luo Feng laughed. The Domain Lord level qualification battles just passed like that. The absolute pinnacle beings of humanity along with the other geniuses weren't even surprised at Luo Feng getting first place. They were all very clear that with his training speed, he was bound to become one of the absolute beings of the universe. Now everybody was just waiting to see if he was capable of completing the first form of the Nanshan 7 forms in 3,000 years, and whether he'd become a true disciple of the city leader. Within Primal Chaos City. Your Majesty Luo Feng. 3 silver-armored sector lords walked up to where Luo Feng stayed. They looked up at his balcony where he sat crossed-legged. On the balcony, Luo Feng opened his eyes to look down, a smile appearing on his face. He jumped down immediately. Is it what I ordered? Luo Feng looked at the 3 sector lords before him. Yes. The leader of the 3 silver-armored sector lords nodded. He respectfully passed over a world ring. The items and things Your Majesty ordered are all within this world ring. Luo Feng received it and used his spirit energy to scan the world ring. The world within this ring was small, with a diameter of only 10,000 kilometers. However, it was completely filled with large amounts of things. The goods took up over 1,000 kilometers in space, of which the most obvious were the 3 silver boxes within. Very good. Luo Feng smiled and nodded, thanks for the trouble. No problem, no problem. The 3 sector lords were somewhat taken aback, saying, we shall not disturb you further, we'll be leaving. The 3 swiftly left. Following the spacious walkways, they walked along, discussing, he's said to be a rare absolute genius of 10 million eras. But, I didn't expect him to be so humble and easy to get along with. When we went to deliver goods to the Primal Region Sector Lord before, HMPH, he was acting all big and arrogant. This is called bearing. I heard His Majesty Luo Feng has been accepted as a disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader. I heard he's only a disciple in name. Rubbish, he is a true disciple. Ah, there may be some miscommunication. The 3 of them discussed mentally. Even though they were all sector lords, as they were simply staff of the Virtual Universe Company Core, they often heard secrets from their interactions. Most of what they heard had been passed down from many sources, hence they would at most get them 50% right. Luo Feng held the world ring and immediately walked into his own training quarters living room. Sitting in the sofa, he rubbed the world ring and it swiftly refined. Come out. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with anticipation, immediately taking out the 3 silver boxes from within the world. The 3 silver boxes laid out on the dining table. Every box was about 1 m long, half a meter wide, and 30 centimeters tall. Luo Feng took a deep breath and swiftly opened all 3 of them. Click. 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 There was a white plant within each box. They were carefully placed within, 60 centimeters tall, their stolan silver white. Star-eating plant. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the 3 plants. They've finally come. Since 6 years ago, when he first began his training in the Nan Shan 7 form's first form, he had studied on his rough power level after completing the first form. Hence, he got a clearer idea on what would happen in the future. His training in Primal Chaos City was set to be a very long time, hence he had to use the time here wisely. How? He had a large amount of Luo Ku holy water, that was a top-level treasure for nurturing plant life, hence he had decided to do so. One had to know that there were many warriors training within Primal Chaos City. They would often purchase a few treasures, and the Virtual Universe Company's ship would often frequent the place. Naturally they could order things. Luo Feng had ordered 3 infant star-eating plants. Star-eating plant, a very special plant life form that was born in the universe. It could be produced on a normal mineral planet. But as it grew, it would swallow the planet's metals, minerals and rocks etc. Normal minerals on the planet were usually enough to let it evolve to universe level, and the mineral planet later collapse and the plant would begin to wander the galaxy with the large amounts of asteroids. While wandering the universe, it may swallow other special metals and stones, plant life forms etc., evolving further. The plant life forms could be divided into many types, like those for defense, or attack, or both, along with others. As there were many types of plants, their abilities were also countless, even to the point where some plants could produce other living things, while others acted like trees, and stayed rooted to the spot. Transplanting them had to be done carefully, not all of them could be moved about like the cloud contact vine. In all, there were many types with countless abilities. The most suited was best star-eating plant. It was named the most sturdy attacking type plant. What most sturdy refers to is only within the plant's humanity cells. There are other special and mysterious types of plants in the vast universe that cannot be bought. The star-eating plant enjoys swallowing rocks, metal, trees etc. It will make it even sturdier. Its attack method is very simple. Just one move, entangle and kill. The cloud contact vine and star-eating plant were very different. The cloud contact vine was mainly for defense, and its attacking ability was but average. The star-eating plant, however, is even more expensive than the cloud contact vine. One without position, or an avenue, wouldn't even be able to buy an infant star-eating plant. This was because it was the most sturdy attacking type plant, hence it was an extremely good assisting life form during a battle. Its countless vines could wrap about an opponent. As long as it affected the enemy's speed and attack, the battle outcome could be changed. The only ability of entangling and killing had given it the title of most sturdy attacking plant life form, leading to it being in high demand. 3 infant star-eating plants, they cost Luo Feng close to 900,000 mixed elements. Of course the infant stage was all the same, the nurturing later on would make them different. Just like the cloud contact vine, the sector lord weakest had 36 vines, and the strongest with 360 vines. Back then the Yunmo planet master, Huyang Bo's cloud contact vine, at sector lord level only had 108 vines, yet it still took a whole lot of work for it to break through to Undying. Luo Feng's sector lord cloud contact vine had 216 vines. It was more than 10 times harder for his to break through to Undying. The star-eating plant was more expensive than the cloud contact vine, of which at sector lord level, the weakest would have 10 vines, the strongest would have 1,000 vines. Star-eating plant. Luo Feng looked at the 3 infant plants, smiling. The 3 star-eating plants, plus the huge amount of material to nurture the plants, had filled up the entire world ring. All of them added together had come up to close to 2 million mixed elements. Without enough wealth, how could one even begin to dwell on it? The cloud contact vine's defense and the star-eating plant's attack. Luo Feng thought, the star-eating plant's sturdiness is well reputed, at infant stage it can already swallow a planet. Luo Feng, don't get happy too early. Barbata's voice resounded within his mind. Your teacher's cloud contact vine only had 108 vines, yet it still required 6.2 million mixed elements, and luck for it to finally break through. And it only gave that cloud contact vine an early official Undying level of strength. Your cloud contact vine has a total of 216 vines, it'll be 10 times harder than your teacher's. If it's the strongest 360 vines, it'll probably be 10 times harder than the golden horned beast breaking through to Undying. And similarly, the moment it broke through to Undying, the 360 vines cloud contact vine would have emperor level strength. The star-eating plant is even more expensive than the cloud contact vine. Nurturing the weakest 10 vine plant to become Undying would definitely be easy. However, the 500 vines plant would be akin to the strongest cloud contact vine. And the legendary 1000 vine star-eating plant, breaking through to Undying, would probably be even harder than a bug clan queen breaking through to Undying. The difference would be minimal. Of course the moment it succeeds, an Undying 1000 vine star-eating plant would definitely have an emperor pinnacle level of strength. After hearing Barbata's words, Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh. Of course he knew this, the universe had trillions of life forms that were incredibly mysterious. However, there was never a free meal. The universe was fair, just like the space beasts, the bug clan queen, breaking through to Undying was incredibly difficult. And the plant life forms were the same, the more powerful they were, the more absurd the difficulty of their breakthrough. If one nurtured a lower level plant life form, it would be easy to break through to Undying. If one nurtured a stronger plant life form, it could never break through to Undying. The choice was all on the person. Ha ha, hence I ordered 3 of them. Luo Feng laughed. 3 star-eating plants. I will make one with 100 vines, another with 300 and last one will be the best one with 1000 vines. He had spent close to 2 million mixed elements. 3 of the infant plants close to 900,000, and over 1.1 million mixed elements in the resources that were required to nurture them. The main thing was that nurturing the 1000 vines star-eating plant took up over 90% of the resources. Luckily, I have the Luo Ku holy water, otherwise producing a sector lord level 1000 vine star-eating plant would be enough to make an official level Undying go bankrupt. Luo Feng thought. I'm lucky. I only spent 2 million, when I reach sector lord level, the virtual universe company will give me an extra 50 million mixed elements. Nurturing the star-eating plants was very easy. They first had to recognize their master, then the process was simple after. Most of the time, the three plants would be left in the pond of Luo Ku holy water, with Barbata watching over them and observing their evolution process, giving them the required resources when they needed to evolve. Right now all three are in the infant stage. However, I'll be here in Primal Chaos City for a very long time. When I complete the first form, the of Nansh and 7 forms, the three would probably have already reached Sector Lord Pinnacle. Luo Feng smiled. He didn't think any more about it, immersing himself in his training of the Nansh and 7 forms. Time passed. He spent long periods of time sitting crossed-legged on his balcony, like the other warriors about. 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, time passed continuously. Luo Feng kept improving. This video will end here.